Well, we are living in a country with two major communities who call themselves minor, and the majority community, of course, is always at the suffering end. Here, what happens is the land holding that I have come to know of. A lot of land holding is with, say, for example, to the Christians. A lot of them with the Waqf board. What they just see some place, they mark their boundary and say this is Waqf board. I happen to travel up country a lot in Karnataka, and I have found that in a distance of about 30 kilometers, there are 57 churches. And mind you, mind-boggling churches. You should look at the architecture. But if you look at the population around that place, once I just casually happened to ask how many people go to this church. I was told that there were 8 families, in another place 3 families, another place 12 families, but the church can house at least 400 people. That is the kind of investment, if I may say, that's happening. Now, it goes back to the basic point where you were talking about the policy making. Here, why can't the government bring upon a policy where for X number of people, you should have one community center, or maybe one church, or one temple, or one mosque, or no, something to that extent. If they can bring about that, I think the properties, the land holdings, will be. Now you just travel up country. Most of the investments by the Christians are huge. They have thousands of acres of land. And is there any? Have they been sold these properties, or are they been on a lease for about say 90 years, 95 years, 100 years?
I don't believe in that WhatsApp university nonsense. I don't know, so I won't answer that question. But all I know for a fact is, I think you're approaching the problem slightly differently. And allow me to say this: that as a country and as a civilization, until you take a categorical position with respect to demographic balance and conversion, these band-aids will not address a leaking ship. There has to be a clear categorical statement of your identity and an assertion at a macro level. Until that happens, these are very myopic solutions. So today some person, and I get really wild when someone sends me these stupid messages. Someone sent me a picture of a traditional candle, or let's say a traditional lamp, with a cross on the top instead of this motif. Okay, say, sir, please take action against this. So a commercial arguing counsel in the Supreme Court should hold this lamp and go to court. Say, sir, see, I was even given a brilliant solution. Can we use intellectual property laws against theft of Hindu intellectual property? How are you going to establish this beyond a point? You're not even able to establish your own rights over Sanskrit. You want to establish rights over the lamp. The solution is on addressing the question of demographic balance and its direct nexus with conversion. There are countries which have taken categorical position with respect to missionary activity in their jurisdictions. Why can't India do it? Why is it beating around the bush and constantly focusing only on FCRA violations? It's not just about the money. Anybody who's a pastor and who comes from outside this country must be grilled before he's given any kind of visa, whether it's a tourist visa or a business visa or whatever it is. Because given the history of what we have seen as a civilization, we have no reason to trust them. You're concerned about foreign direct investment in defense and foreign direct investment in the press, but what about foreign direct investment in religion? This is FDI in religion in the worst form possible. With the territorial loyalties lying outside this country because somebody else is pulling the strings. Sweden is sending money, Germany is sending money, Scandinavian countries are all sending money. It's not United States, by the way. Germany is among the biggest contributors when it comes to evangelical activity in this country. Most people don't know this because they were among the first to come to poach Sanskrit, to take an active interest in it. Why do so many Indology centers find support in Germany? Correct, Max Muller. So I would therefore suggest that you push for the larger issue first. And it's not legally impossible or constitutionally impossible. There are Supreme Court judgments taking a categorical position against conversion. But does the government have the intent and the will to see it through? That will always be the question. When people ask me a question of whether it's possible in the law, I'll say almost everything is possible in the law. It's only a question of you building the right narrative for it. Tomorrow, it's possible for the government to convince the population that reservation is needed in the private sector. At some point, we thought 50% barrier will not be breached. In some states, it's gone to 76%. In some states, it's gone to 69%. The only thing that is left now is reservation in the private sector. The government will also convince you on that. So don't ever ask whether it is legally possible. The question is, will you do it?